Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are in lesson 4 in the topic quadratic expressions and equations. Please share with friends so that we learn together in this journey. If you are new to the channel, subscribe so that you are notified every time we upload a new video. Let's see what we have here. Now in our previous lesson we learned how to complete the square, and in this lesson we are going to learn how to solve quadratic equations by completing the square method. Well, let's begin by explaining what we mean by quadratic equations. Quadratic equations are equations in the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. In this lesson, I will take you through the procedure that is involved in solving quadratic equations. Okay, so let's look at the first example. We are going to solve by completing the square. X squared plus 4x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now I want you to take note of this. Every time we're using completing the square method, just ensure that the coefficient of x squared is unity, that is 1. So a is equal to 1. Another thing that we need to take note of here, remember, for a perfect square, this expression on the left hand side should obey the rule b over 2 squared is equal to ac. But for our case, a is already 1, and therefore c will be obtained as b over 2 squared. So we'll not bother about a because it's already 1, so 1 times c is just c. So this is what we are going to apply throughout in our workings. Okay, so let's solve this. Now, the first step is to take negative 3 to the right hand side. Already coefficient of x squared is 1, that we've taken note of. So negative 3 is taken to the right hand side, so that we have x squared plus 4x is equal to 3. Once we have done that, we complete the square on the left hand side. That is, in the expression on the left hand side we have ax squared plus bx, and the constant term c is missing, so that is what we look for. So we are going to say x squared plus 4x plus c, and c is obtained as b over 2 squared, and b for this case is 4. So we simply take 4 over 2 and then we square. That way we have completed the square on the left hand side. On the right hand side we had 3, and because it's an equation and we added something on the left hand side, then for balance we need to add the same on the right hand side, that is 4 over 2 squared. If you like, you can simplify the left hand side as x squared plus 4x plus this is 4. And on the right hand side we have 3 plus 4. So that we have x squared plus 4x plus 4 is equal to 7. So at this particular point, I want us to be very keen. On the left hand side, we'll be required to factorize this quadratic expression. And when it comes to perfect squares, we don't need to bother a lot. Just consider this. If you're given a quadratic expression in the form x squared plus bx plus c, where the coefficient of x squared is 1 already, then we can factorize it straight away in a simple way by having x and then look at the sign that follows, which is plus, that is the sign of b, plus b over 2, and then you square. When you expand this, you'll get back to the quadratic expression. So that is what we are going to apply at this step. Here we write x, and then the sign that follows b is addition sign, and then you take 4 divide by 2, that is b over 2, and then you square. That should give us the right hand side, which is 7. For us to get x, we'll have to find the square root of the left hand side and the right hand side. and that means square root of x plus this is 2 squared, and on the right hand side we find the square root of 7, which will be plus or minus root 7. On the left hand side we have x plus 2, on the right hand side we have plus or minus 2.64575, that is the square root of 7. And then we'll take 2 to the right hand side, that will be x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus 2.64575. Now with this we can get the values of x, and the first value of x we obtain by taking negative 2, add it to 2.64575, that will give us 0.64575. So the next value of x we obtain by subtracting, so we have negative 2 minus 2.64575, and that should give us negative 4.64575. And those are the solutions to the quadratic equation. Well, I want us to take note of this. In this particular case, if you try applying factorization method, then you'll find it very hard. So for quadratic equations where we cannot apply factorization method, suitable method to use will be completing the square method. There is another method that we look at, but let's cross the bridge when we get there. The next example, now this should be quick now. We have 2x squared minus 3 over 4 x minus 18 is equal to 0. The first thing is to ensure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. So divide all through by 2. Dividing all through by 2 is just the same as multiplying by a half. I say that because when it comes to fractions here, some students find it a problem dividing 3 over 4 by 2. That is the same as multiplying it by a half. So just multiply 3 over 4 by a half and you'll get the term that will replace this. So we have x squared minus 3 over 4 times a half, that is 3 over 8 x minus 9, and that should be equal to 0. So once you have gotten to this step, take negative 9 to the right hand side. We have x squared minus 3 over 8 x is equal to 9. Well, we are going to complete the square. Remember, we have x squared minus 3 over 8x, and then we'll have to add that to the constant term here, and the constant term c is missing, and then we have to equate that to the right hand side, which is 9, and we're also going to add the same thing that we'll have here to the right hand side. So what value do we have here? We say, completing the square, c is equal to b over 2 squared, and b is negative 3 over 8. So negative 3 over 8 times a half, that is dividing by 2. Negative 3 over 8 times a half, that is negative 3 over 16. And negative 3 over 16 will have to be squared, that is b over 2 squared. The same should be added to the right hand side. Now the left hand side becomes x squared minus 3 over 8x plus 9 over 256, and the right hand side will be 9 plus 9 over 256. Well, on the left hand side we can factorize this straight away by having x minus, because of this sign here, and then a half of b is 3 over 16 squared. When you expand this, you need to get back to this expression on the left hand side, and then on the right hand side we will have 9 plus 9 over 256. So when we work out this, we are supposed to get 9.035156. From my calculator I get that. And then the next thing is to find the square root on the left hand side and right hand side. And what this will give us is x minus 3/16 on the left hand side, and on the right hand side this is plus or minus 3.005854. And then we'll take this to the right hand side, negative 3/16. Sorry, this is negative. So we have x is equal to positive 3/16 plus or minus 3.005854. And when I work out this from my calculator, the first value of x is 3/16 plus 3.005854. I get it as 3.193354. And for the second one, 3/16 minus 3.005854, the value is negative 2.818354. And finally, we have come to the solutions of this quadratic equation using completing the square, of course. So I have an exercise here. Try to solve by completing the square method. The first equation is 2x squared plus 4x minus 8 is 0. And the next one, number 2, 3x squared plus 8x minus 6 is equal to 0. Finally, we have come to the end of this lesson. I want to thank you for staying with me up to this time. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.